provided a lot of solutions, both to kind of a little bit of a lack of burst damage for the Timber, the good effective kiting tool, or banish that they had for the Ursa, and then just that, yeah, it felt like the game was kind of over. And slowly, gradually thereafter, after that one engagement top lane where Moon made his first rotation, and they completely dissipated that aggressive tri lane. Resolution recovered nicely. We had already had a good time mid. And as you mentioned, Moon just playing out of his mind, really, in the last 3 games that we've seen. So they'll go for the Moon hero here in the first phase, knowing that he's in the groove, going to get him something he likes with that first phase. Clockwork. Response thus far is the Crystal Maiden from Stan King in front.
It's interesting that Thunderbirds will go for the Clockwork first, even though Moon is an absolute champ on that hero. Potentially they're thinking maybe about putting in a 4 position and saving the Moon pick for later in a way to kind of confuse SGG into thinking they've picked their offlaner so they don't ban any more offlaners. But we'll see how the rest of the draft goes.
Definitely as a hero that you can draft solutions to. Picking it up this early, and is not necessarily a hero held in all that high esteem widely, at least across Pro Dota, perhaps for T-Birds themselves. But feels like, in general, a lot of highly regarded offlaners in the pool still. So I definitely wouldn't be too surprised to see them go with that 4-position Clockwork configuration, as you were mentioning. For a full support duo going to be revealed here. And as you mentioned, just not really the big playability hero for Francis Lee in last game with the Treant. And they will pick his signature Earth Spirit here.
It's interesting that Thunderbirds would go for the Clockwork here too. I mean, not the Clockwork, the Keeper of the Light, potentially maybe a Coddle pick. I've seen it in a few games. Really, people prioritizing the Bristleback Coddle combination, being able to double Quills and double Goo. That hero is just really underrated, I think, right now. Can do so much damage so quickly, really benefits from the Solar Crest, and just can eat so much up and survive. We'll see if Thunderbirds goes for it.
Possibilities with the Keeper as well. Decent solution to the Earth Spirit with the Mana Leak early on. The Baden ban going to come out, and yeah, it looks like at least SGG side are fairly convinced this is an offlane Clockwork, and that's where perhaps the mind games come into play that you alluded to earlier, that they can throw that Clockwork down into the 4 kind of roaming position and go for a different offlaner here, get a strong hero for Moon. At Wheeze SF, we already saw it do some work today against Complexity, and they're going to take that out. And of course, the Cogs SF combo, perhaps looming in their mind, looming threat in their minds. Night Stalker ban is an interesting one.
I feel like if you go for the early Coddle, you really have to respect ban the Night Stalker, because, I mean, even though they've picked both their supports, potentially SGG could draft that in an offlane role and really completely negate the power of the Keeper of the Light with that one ultimate. So definitely a value ban.
Yeah, good aggression as well early on against the Coddle. Crippling Fear, nice tool to have against the Clockwork. Takes away his defensive capability. Juggernaut as going to be picked up here for SGG, as essentially they take a page out of everyone's book, but out of T-Bird's book specifically from game 1 with the Crystal Maiden Jugger. So a lot more in the way of comfort picks for SGG. They also have a little bit of Siege now available to them with the Healing Ward and the Juggernaut, and just how he functions naturally. Alchemist ban. So we targeted bans here in the second phase for SGG. But most often it feels T-Birds lead that pick.
Juggernaut really good at dealing with the Clockwork and just kind of spin and hit the Cogs or spin and TP out. Cog can't do anything about it. I was thinking that SGG would go for something like a Morphling, which they've prioritized in the past for Yawar, just because he can waveform out of the Cogs, but it seems like Juggernaut is a safer play, I think, because Morphling is kind of a risky hero.
Especially with aggressively line up. Monkey King fits that bill. Clockwork, Monkey King can definitely get some work done early game. kind of in spirit or in intention, the counter to the Earth Spirit, so you can be more effective in the early game, more influential across the map.
Is Monkey King still good? I'm trying to figure that out. I've seen teams really not valuing it as highly as they were just because of the substantial nerfs, but his roaming potential is just still amazing.
Yeah, he scales as well fairly well. I mean, the ultimate always ends up being somewhat. I mean, I say somewhat effective, but at times, once he's able to pick up a basher, at times it turns fights. So although his early power certainly stunted by the recent changes, I mean, it feels like with heroes like Earth Spirit, they get nerfed repeatedly. But if the core concept of the hero is the same, it's still strong in the pros' hands. And Monkey King feels similar. You have the Coddle as well with the MK.
Is UG picking up the Darks here? Kind of a throwback combo. Put the Ion Shell on the
Jugger,
Earth
yeah.
Spirit, run at people.
Jugger as well.
Yeah, really, really strong. Darks are coming back into the meta in a pretty big way, I think, lately. Definitely a really strong hero in the right hands. Can really shut down lanes, do a lot of work. The mana leak can be an issue
I was
against the
just
Darks
gonna
here.
say the
Yeah.
one thing that really dropped Darkseer out of favor is the mana cost, and mana leak certainly can kind of throw a wrench into what he intends to do. But as you mentioned, his effectiveness not just going to be his lane presence in this one. He throw the Ion Shell in the Earth Spirit, smoke TP to mid, get something done that way. So it's still definitely a good pick here. Also, the vacuum to some extent deals with the Monkey King in the trees. And there's the Bristleback that you were talking about. Combos up nicely with the Keeper. Doesn't really care too much about Juggernaut's magic immunity. And continue to run at him. Just very hard to bring down when you lack burst. And that is something that Darkseer certainly lacks. So could be the mid lane Bristleback that we saw earlier today. Of course, Rezo could run it as well.
I'm wondering if CCNC will play the Juggernaut. Because if it's a Juggernaut versus a Bristleback mid, it's not an awful matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And they could maybe go for a different safe laner. Because it's hard to really win that lane, I think, against a Bristleback. Maybe they can pick a Razor, that would be a throwback, but I think that here is pretty much dumpster tier, but we'll see.
That was exactly the word I had in mind. Anti-Mage's going to be the ban from IsGG against the Darkseer. Always a great matchup. Spell Shield and lane and a huge mana pool to grab a Void off of later into the game. So they are expecting the Wii Bristle with that pickup. And Storm ban actually coming out. So early level Storm do good against pretty much every melee laner. Then later on would be difficult against the Bristle. Either way, Troll going to be the final pick for Rezo, presumably. Really good with the Monkey King. Is the Battle Trance. Other than that, just a building hitter to round out the lineup. Something that can allow them to take Roche quickly with the Nasal Goo. I believe they ran this with the Bristleback earlier today, if I recall correctly. And he does have the range for him to deal with Ion Shell early on.
Venomancer.
Ooh, the CCNC Venomancer. I'm sure Franz would be proud. This hero is a menace in the right hands.
Yeah, can deal with the Bristle too early on for sure. And the tick physical damage, the Gale as well to slow him up. So really can keep his aggression at bay. It is a hero Monkey King can get to. See how that duality works out of the Earth Spirit versus Monkey. But definitely feel like IsGG in a much more comfortable position in this draft than maybe they were after looking at T-Bird's 5th pick in the first one.
I was thinking that maybe IsGG could pick up a Viper, but that hero is kind of in the Razor boat. But Venomancer, Viper, both decent against Bristle, can slow him down. He can't really run at you when you're slowed for a million years. But I think Venomancer is a little bit more harassable in the mid lane. Like he's easier
Yeah.
to shut down than maybe a Viper.
Yep.
But he does bring more to the game later.
Okay, last minute roll swap here. Oh, they swapped again. You see that?
That was pretty crazy.
So Misery and Moon swapping. I don't know about core Monkey King.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. Maybe in the very early days in a position 1 capacity, but that hero just brings way too much to the potential as a roamer.
Yeah.
Seems like a waste to put him in the lane.
And always seems to scale at some point. Perhaps more so than some other. Alright, to immediate smoke some other roamers. I'll just lead down to the bottom lane, TP up to the top lane from Stand King. Misery as well as Saxa gonna do similar things. Stand King still with the ward on his person. Saxa spotted up as well. And are any wards placed here? So Stand King will get one down in towards the mid lane. And Misery gonna be found out. Yawar doesn't have, oh, he does have a Tango, but doesn't have the quelling. So actually gonna use one of his Tangos. Try and find himself a Monkey King, but won't be successful in doing so. Stand King nearby actually skilled up the Frostbite. And only has a couple of Tangos, so precious regen to use. A lot of vision here as well for Misery with the Cliff Ward. And frantically trying to take out some trees, see if he can kill the Monkey King, but does not seem that they're aware of his position currently. Okay, maybe they are.
Pinged out. Wonder if they can do anything about it. Maybe if they get a Frostbite spin, they can finish him off.
Yeah,
Is he in too deep?
If they can drop him down 4 seconds stun. Definitely killable. But teams will trade bounty runes as is customary. And no courier movement yet. It does have a salve on it though. For the Radiant side. Misery nearby, but will make his way over to the east. So back and forth he'll go. See how this Bristleback Venomancer matchup breaks down, but already CCNC down the hill. Misery may be thinking about jumping for him. Though the level 1 kill potential is limited at best. Meanwhile, bottom lane, speaking of kill potential, the roll in and the Frostbite, they find Moon. And one more right click, he gets the Fairy Fire off, trying to chase him down, salves up, gets the cogs off, but traps Yawar in them. He's going to salve up. And should be just fine to make it back. Does end up using his salve for it, but so did Moon, so either way.
Standing under the tower with the salve, hitting cogs, that is the efficiency play right there.
And Moon takes a load of damage as well as he returns to lane. His shrine is available here, and Misery gonna jump forward looking for Stand King. Gets the Primal Spring off, but a little deep behind enemy lines, and he'll make his way back out to safety. Oh, they are gonna find him down on the tree. Stand King, no mana for the Frostbite. And Yawar, too many CS to miss to make that couple of seconds. But the Orb of Venom tick, oh, the roll just whiffs. Misery, though, he's slow. And we'll look for the Mischief to try and make it away. He's still being chased down, though. Makes the far jump off to the north. And the tower finding him mid-air. Monkeying around, literally, is Misery. Second kill of the game for is GG's side, excuse me.
It's always interesting to me to see how Bristlebacks itemize in the early game. Some go for the early 4-man shield, others just go for the stout and rush an early bottle, try and get the Vanguard. Seems like we went for the early boots, bottle, stout shield, prioritizing getting a Vanguard maybe sooner rather than later. I wonder if that's the game for it, though. There's a lot of magic damage coming out for his GG.
Yeah, definitely so. Actually, in the early going. Lee gonna take Moon's bounty rune away, so he's gonna have a very rough start to the early game here. And getting to a bit of a war as well. He's gonna get rolled up. Battery Assault, though, should keep him safe. Boulder Smash is gonna be there. One more right click needed.
Flee.
Yeah.
godlike.
With the battery assault, he will be forced to make his way back to base. Snaking top lane, out of mana. Do have the boundless strike. One more right click. And the ranged whirling axe is coming for Rezo as well. So Misery finally feeling his impact a little bit across the map here. Couple of minutes in. Gale gonna connect mid lane on Wii. Nothing further to speak of though.
At around the 2-minute and 50-second mark, we ran into the jungle and stacked the Ancients, and I think that was the hard camp, maybe the medium camp. So definitely showing what Bristleback can do early with his quill stacks, whatever, to let him farm later. Could be good. Nice efficiency right there.
Yeah, we're used to playing it from earlier today as well, so. Doing decently in his mid lane, 14 CS, 22 and 8 for CCNT though. He is going to connect with the Gale. Roll attempted and connects. We kicked away, but should just fall here to the poison tick. And securing it with the Crystal Nova. Kill secured. Is Stan King. Misery going to rotate into the mid lane, looking for Flea with a boundless strike, but doesn't quite have the... Oh, he's going to get spotted by the tower and the wave, and is forced out to the west.
This Max Gale Venomancer is an absolute menace in the lane. Like, you cannot fight this hero.
Yeah, we see no one build it a lot, particularly versus Ember Spirit. VP love the pick. And is definitely doing some work in this mid lane, as we typically regarded as a great mechanical player. Losing this lane to CCNC. Moon being pincered in here, bottom. And there is vision up on the high ground. Roll in. Battery assault will be there, and yeah, looks like Flea. No, yeah, he will take his first spill of the game. Yawar though finds the immediate revenge kill. Misery now, no boundless strike available. Looking to bring down Yawar. Can he jump forward and find him with the spring? He's going to Mischief, looking for the courier move speed. Okay, one more right click. Misery finds it. Big kill for the Monkey King to find this early game, as he was struggling just a bit before then. But Moon ends up going down again, so a second time he takes a spill in this game. They do, however, have a dignified response this time for Thunderbirds. 4-3 now the score after a 2-0 lead, or is GG.
Something we haven't really focused on, but Snaking has only got 14 CS, and even though he hasn't died, he is not farming as well as Moon.
Yeah.
He's actually level 5, which is good. Moon is level 5 also, so it's not that good. But he hasn't died, so that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, the farm though certainly subpar by Darkseer standards, and some of the merits of the draft, some of the merits of the playstyle as well, with Saxa just kind of sitting in lane here. Speaking of Saxa, he looks to steal a bounty rune, is successful in doing so, but gonna pay with his life here, as he does a little ring around the Rosie. And now he's going to be pushing up posies. But either way. Moon. Looking to get that level 6 milestone. Meanwhile, Poison Nova out mid lane. We in trouble. And he'll drop. Deny. Oh!
Deny.
Saxa.
Saxa god.
That sucks. When you're minute and a half. Poison Nova. 2 minutes plus Poison Nova. Excuse me. Is used to no avail in the early game. So a little bit of a window now for Thunderbirds to feel safe from that. And Moon does end up finding his level 6 mark. Now Flea with the Ion Shell on him. Top lane. Resolution playing very wisely. Gonna be a difficult dive for them to make. Saxa rotating in as well. And TPs are available just for Moon on the dire side. They all do look to the east though, and again, Flea connects. Feels like he's missed 0 to 2 rolls and probably hit 5+ this game. And he'll net a kill on Saxa. Moon will rotate top, but he'll be a bit late to the fray. He's still hanging around here. Rolls up to the high ground. Has a TP available if need be. And we back to work in the mid. Misery by his side. You are finding some space in the mid as well. No one sitting bottom lane. All that farm. No heroes.
He's probably going to go for his triple ancient stack. Is that triple? I think it's triple. Yeah, it's triple. Definitely will inflate his CS a decent margin. And he's had a rough time. I think he's died twice mid. He was denied once, but even though he was denied, it's still hard to not be able to farm.
Gonna get a nice influx of gold here and help propel him back up. The net worth chart, meanwhile, top lane. A little bit of a skirmish here. You are, though. Oh, wow. The rocket flare and the illuminate hitting just in the nick of time. And that looked to do a lot of damage. Boundless Strike was available for Misery, but he gets frostbitten, so unable to land that on Snaking, and it'll just be the one kill, but a big kill on Yawar. Meanwhile, Moon, bottom lane, will find himself a double, as the rocket flare is actually what nets the kill top lane.
You think you shut this guy down, but he just comes back, gets a double kill.
Proving he's first phase
crazy.
worthy. Yeah, definitely. And he has been playing very well today. A little bit of criticism a couple of days ago. Moon's performance. Certainly silencing the
Another
naysayers.
ancient stack for Wii. He is really enjoying those ancients. Going right for the Vanguard.
Yeah, nice change into the game. You can use things like Rocket Flare to actually pull the ancients away. Now that they do take magical damage. Fleet. Doesn't have a ward on this person, but does have the vision at the shrine. So maybe just looking to soak some experience here. Noir nearby, and Moon could be in trouble. They do ping out Flea here. Not sure how they caught a glimpse of him, but maybe just walked down the stairs briefly. Wee makes it over to the west. And does have nearly enough gold for this Vanguard, so it would be a very tough pill to swallow if he ends up dropping here. Double damage rune top lane. Looks like the dire side will secure that. CC&C, second Poison Nova ready, and they're going to find Rezo with it. Instantly Galed and Poison Nova'd up. They have the Frostbite as well, so Rezo more than likely dead here. And yeah, last right click will finish him off. Big kill for CC&C to find Misery. Looking for the response here, but no support in tow as Moon still bottom lane. And we farming the jungle. And we'll just back off.
I deserve this.
You are Omni Slash already. Moon though, level 8 already on this clock. Difficult kill.
Prioritizing the Force Staff first over something like a Blade Mail against the Juggernaut. Probably the right item decision. And he, since his, very early game into now, he's been able to kind of transition. Holding onto his hook so we can cancel the TP.
Jumps in. Omni Slash gonna finish Moon off here. Oh, he gets the Jugger first though with the stick charges. And the right click is there. Deceptively tanky is the Clockwork here already. Just now hitting that level 9 mark, and you are no experience for that one, as he's the first to drop. Still a favorable trade in terms of the metrics for the Thunderbirds, and Rezo right back to the top lane they'll go.
Time to push.
Misery bot lane as well. It looks like this tier 1 bottom should go down for Thunderbirds though. In the meantime, we'll see. Darkseer, not the best tower pushing hero, and stanking. Doesn't commit much in that manner either. TP top lane is going to be scouted by Saksa. He drops down a ward, and Rezo will back off because of it.
This'll come in handy.
Jackpot.
Nearing that Force Staff is Moon. Misery. He's got the phase boots, 1,000 gold. Atop the 4 supports, surprisingly enough.
Snaking's actually sitting on a decent chunk. Hopefully he doesn't go down here.
He does surge up, makes the smart decision to go north. Boundless Strike just gonna whiff here. Looks for the TPO. Battery Assault though is there in time. He's already used the surge, and he will end up dropping thanks to your caster curse.
That is true. He did
Rip.
buy out though, so it's not too bad.
All right. Right into the Basher, Misery looking to go, and picks up the Belt of Giant Strength. Recalled towards the top lane, looking to make a defense potentially. Big Illuminate connects, and now they're going to drop down the Wukong's command and connect with the Boundless Strike. Do they have any follow-up, though? Not yet. Grip and Kick coming out from Flea, though it does stop the push for now. And it's just 2 supports used in order to do so. Heavy commitment, though, from the Radiant squad in towards this top lane. Healing Ward will keep them healthy. Or will be able to spin, dodge that Illuminate. Saxon nearby needs to be careful as he is in range of Flea. CNC. Thinking about going after Misery here. Has the Poison Nova. Makes a TP down towards the bottom lane where they've gone in on Wii. Boulder Smash is going to connect from Flea. And Magnetize there as well. Freezing Field gets cancelled by the hook. And immediately Moon going to go in. Force staffing forward. Yawar though. Under the cover of Spin. Wii not really in fighting shape. They are going to turn it and get the 1 kill bottom lane, but more importantly, keep Wii alive as he picks up his medallion. Vanguard on the way to that Solar Crest. And Rezo stops CCNC from pushing in mid lane.
Yawar actually has the Shadow Blade queued up, which is a pretty strange item choice, but he's probably thinking about the Silver Edge to stop the Bristle. CCNC could also get it, but for him it seems like more of a reach.
Yeah.
While Juggernaut, it seems like kind of a little bit more synergistic, I think. Ooh, Rezo mid.
Yeah, gets kicked back by the immaculate Earth Spirit Prey of Flea. And that is almost all that feels like it's keeping the Radiant in the game right now. Else they're slowly losing the farm battle. Down 5,500 in the way of net worth. They do get Rezo there mid, but does it feel like it's going a little too slow for the Radiant right now, having a Veno and a Darkseer? Juggernaut to facilitate the push as well. Misery gonna get chakra'd up, and he's able to make it away top lane. I just feel like Thunderbirds may be a bit more content to go late than their counterparts here.
It's interesting how the lineups scale, because heroes like Bristle tend to fall off, but Troll Warlord and the Monkey King really could go as late as they want with the right items. Similarly, the Earth Spirit falls off, but you have Darkseer and Jug who can, the stronger, you know, the enemy team gets, the stronger your wall is. So, I feel like it's an interesting kind of late game situation. Obviously Thunderbirds has better pushing potential, but it really depends on the next 5 or 10 minutes to determine who will take the lead.
Yeah, pretty... I wouldn't say subtle lead, wouldn't say substantial either for Thunderbirds. But they are sitting pretty here, 16 minutes in, 9-9. Bristle and Resolution farming very well, and Misery transitioning into that core role now. Just the recipe away, so about 400 gold from his Basher. Gets a Lucky Bash top lane earlier there, and that's a kill on a core just by a support. So Yawar in the meantime, mid lane tower going to be taken out. He's got his Yasha before picking up what seems to be that Shadow Blade. And it feels like a lot of time spent clumped here for SGG, and for the most part, Saxa and Misery able to kind of deal with the push. They're really going to commit in hard though with the Plague Wards now. In towards top lane. Snake King going to do a little tanking as well. Misery stalking. Really hard to jump in towards CCNC with the Poison Nova cocked and ready. But in the meantime, we just pushing in bottom. He's going to force a TP out from CCNC and may just end up going down here. He sees the Plague Ward though. And meanwhile, top lane, Misery looking to go in. Primal Spring connects onto Snake King. He needs to hit the Balanced Strike. He will be able to just slow him as the surge ends. Hook comes through, and they'll body off any support using the Wukong's command. Meanwhile, we able to make it out bottom as CCNC using the Plague Ward to scout the Bounty Rune actually tips his location to the Bristle. So tower defended again, top.
I wonder which team is more content to sit back and farm. Wee's going for his... Well, he has the Solar Crest now. It seems like he's going for a BKB, an early BKB, to deal with the Vener's poison. CCNC finishes BOT's Midas, really wanting to just farm right now. Maybe gonna go for something like a Hurricane Pike to deal with the Clockwork.
What have we here?
GG doesn't seem that concerned with the way things are going right now. It seems like they have a plan, even though things aren't necessarily going their way. They're not trying to force anything.
Well, I mean, they spent a good amount of time on that tier 1 top lane, and it did end up bailing out without losing too much. But to some extent, it does feel like their lineup just hasn't gotten it done enough in this early game. I mean, there's still 2 tier 1 standing with a Juggernaut and a Venom on your side. And yes, you deviate from the max Plague Wards build because you're mid and you want to dominate that lane. But still, it just feels like, you know, at this point you do have the 4 levels. But the Coddle pick just dealing well with the any sort of a push assembled here by GG. When your Clockwork has as much farm as the enemy Darkseer, you're feeling good, I feel, for Thunderbirds. You are?
Yeah, absolutely. Snaking's had a rough game so far for sure. His lane was tough. He's been picked up a few times now, later on. There's no specific one item that will bring this back for him. So he's going for a 4-staff. Fight top.
Yeah. So you kill off your war. He actually was walking uphill with his freshly picked up Shadow Blade and gets Mana Leaked, and Blinding Light pushes him away. He's forced to use the spin and then hooked up by the ever-performing Moon today on his Clockwork, who's already staring down the possibility of an Ags here. Misery gonna gain some information for his squad as they roche. And for some reason we saw all those roche timers, which was kind of odd. Maybe casters and players finally are allies.
Rock it on.
Seems like every hero on SGG is queuing up a 4-staff to deal with this Moon Clockwork. Oh, Monkey King.
Yeah, Misery gonna accept his fate here. The Francis Lee, the player with the 6th sense, able to kick him off the tree. It's a nice bit of a consolation prize for for SGG, but Thunderbirds still fairly content with where they sit. Only 240 gold from an Ags is Saxa at this point, and with the Monkey King and all the vision offered to you by the Coddle, feels very difficult for CCNC and Snaking, and maybe Flea for that matter, to get an initiation. Saxa, oh my, he even guessed right. This man is a player, but Saxa able to make it out. We in the mid lane, meanwhile, lots of TPs inbound. He could just fall here. Yeah, looks like he will. Vacuumed back. Aegis available to this Bristleback. Yawara almost needs to back off here, and does pop up the healing ward. So it will be an Aegis for free. But still, just kind of a flexing of his muscle
committed.
there.
He's held on to it for the real fight.
Oh, Rezo bot lane, feeling a little bit safe after he sees them going on Bristle. Now jump forward, nice Gale from CCNC. Rezo just going to turn and try and fight here. And now roll forward, the wall comes out. Wukong's command though from the high ground, and the Boundless Strike, the bash onto CCNC. Now Moon dealing with the backline. Poison Nova does land nicely and should be able to kill off Misery. But still, Wee hasn't even been in the fight yet. He now just joins. Snake King, he's in no man's land as he returns to the fray, and he'll get killed off. And Poison Nova used essentially for the Misery kill. Everyone, though, fairly wounded for T-Bird's side, so they will have to back off in a way. Ags is up now, though, for Saxa. So in future pushes, or in future fights, if they take a favorable trade like that, they can just sustain up and continue to push away.
Yawara's itemization has been kind of a struggle. Went back for that Shadow Blade, hasn't been able to get anything out of it yet. Still prioritizing the Silver Edge as opposed to something like a Manta. Could potentially try and start split pushing with the Shadow Blade before he gets a Silver Edge, because fights you kind of want to avoid, I think, at this point.
Yeah, really difficult place to be in for SGG's side. I mean, you've got this Venomancer who's a great team fight presence, but at the same time, your rest of your lineup just isn't there. Hook gonna whiff bottom lane, not gonna matter though. As Wee chases down Snaking. Now Primal Spring in the goo are going to catch CCNC. He's got a Force Staff, able to make it away. Wee, though, with the BKB, is looking to chase him down and will be able to do so successfully. He's still going and will end up backing away as a tier 2 still standing here bottom lane. Saxa going to look to finish that off alongside his units, and they do have the Illuminate to heal up Wee as well. Meanwhile, top lane, Rezo finds Yawar by himself, as it looks like he just stood and fight and fought. Stood and fight. He got magnetized up, even silenced, but just turned to fight. It looks like he was successful in doing so. He makes his way down the bottom lane as well with the recall. And Illuminate. Going to keep all of T-Bird's health here. 2 buybacks available. They really don't want to expend them, but they're immediately going to melt off the Crystal Maiden.
Choice. Here they go.
Double buyback, beautiful wall, and a nice combination from the Earth Spirit. Poison Nova comes out as well from CCNC. He's getting low, though, and the Wukong's command finishes him off. Omni Slash, though, is going to get Moon in the meantime. Wee in trouble as well in the trees. Still pretty tanky, but is going to end up dropping. They save the racks for now. Cost them a couple of buybacks. CCNC dies again as well. So it is going to be the CCNC buyback and the Yawar buyback. So it's a defense.
Yawar wasn't able to receive the full force of the gold he deserved because of his buyback. If he had not bought back, or just gotten those kills naturally, that would have really catapulted his farm back into a good place. But unfortunately, that penalty is pretty strong.
Meanwhile, bot lane, Snaking in trouble. Mana Leak stun is there. Resolution inbound. Nice blinding light from Saxa. And Snaking down 50 seconds. Maybe they even look at high ground here, but they will back off. Misery out of mana. Moon not nearby. Moon recalled, though. With the Ags, it's just constant trips back to base.
I'll take that as tribute.
For the Thunderbirds squad. 30 seconds still, no Darkseer. Wee, though, down for 10. And we'll see what kind of attempt, what kind of commitment T-Birds are willing to throw here. At least bring down these.
Working on the fresh BKB for the high ground push.
Yeah, 10-second duration available to him. Ags still 800 gold away for Moon, but he will have that one hook shot, and he's been landing them. Wee gonna jump forward, gets the goo off a bit. CCNC still no Poison Nova for 20 seconds. Very difficult for them to fight. BKB popped up. CCNC taking a lot of damage. Wee bodying back the entire lineup of his GG as they take the racks, and with almost perfect timing, he turns and his BKB expires as he hits the steps. So, nothing lost of value here, as Saxa will sound the retreat with his Illuminate, and Thunderbirds net lane of racks.
Going straight for the shrine is to really exhibit total map control, shuttering SGG into their base, but they've smoked up his 5, hoping to make something happen.
Yeah, they were going to find Wee. He's not alone, though. Moon is nearby with the Ags. And unfortunately, for SGG's side, they are staring down the barrel of defeat here. An elimination. Well, really looked like a good fight at the beginning for them at the bottom racks, where they hit a nice wall into the Lee combo and get the Poison Nova off. But Snaking dying thereafter just opens the door for another immediate push. And now Hookshot going to save Saxa for the time being. Cogs going to keep everyone at bay. Force that forward. CCNC down to the low ground. May be able to actually get the Coddle here. But at what cost? They're chasing pretty deep for this Coddle. Forces up. Wukong's command is going to get canceled by Francis Lee on the south side. Wee now jumping forward for CCNC. And will look to find him. Hookshot now. Yawar being chased out by Wee. Meanwhile, Resolution. BKB'd up. Misery is there with Snaking. And they'll find the Darkseer. And Yawar going to rage quit. GG going to be called. And is GG?
Is GG goes out not with the bang, but with the whimper. Dying outside their base. Very anticlimactic.
Yeah. I mean, in NA fashion, it's GG. Leave the game. But either way, Thunderbirds, I mean, they win 6 games and don't miss a beat today. It didn't seem like the time gap in between the last couple of series really hurt them at all. Their drafts were sharp. Their play was sharp. Moon particularly played very well today. He had a rough early start to this game. Still ends up finishing 7-4-7. overall, and had a good impact. Misery really having a good game on his Monkey King as well, was able to net a good amount of farm. But all around, Thunderbirds looking very solid. Rezo fell for the most part today, had his teammates do a lot of work for him. But the drafting was good. So Thunderbirds really asserting their dominance. I mean, NP just lost to DC.